settlements for defilement victims on the rise in Lejokuku-Krowo Municipal Assembly.
Eastern Regional Security Force clamped down on illegal miners. A very good evening to you. Welcome to News Hour, coming to you from Broadcasting House here in Accra. My name is Gifty Eji.
I am Shelley, and Robert Fimpo Manso is our sign language interpreter for tonight.
Now the stories. The Electoral Commission will from Friday 9th to Saturday 10th September 2016 exhibit the Provisional Voters Register for those who participated in the recently held NHIS re-registration and the continuous voter registration exercise. The exhibition exercise will take place at all district offices of the Electoral Commission across the country. The exhibition of the Provisional Voters Register for prisoners will also take place concurrently on the prison premises for inmates who took part in the continuous registration exercise.
An anti-illegal mining operation carried out by a team of security men in the Eastern region has led to the seizure of 9 excavators and other equipment used in the Galamsey activities. The operation was carried out in communities including Chebi, Achim Edukrom and other areas, all within the East Achim and Achim Mampong municipalities.
140 security personnel made up of 132 military and police personnel and 8 officers from the Southern Command of the services took part in the one-day operation. The operation led to the arrest of some illegal miners and seizure of the equipment including 9 excavators, several pumping machines, generators, motorbikes and a Peugeot car. According to the security, most of the illegal miners got wind of the swoop and absconded with their equipment.
They were difficult to show ownership, so with our investigative skills we were able to convince them to show who the things belong to. They have to produce the documents, whether they are licensed to mine here or it is illegal mining. When we see the document before we can determine the next line of action.
The nation has, for some time now, been battling with the menace of illegal mining and its devastating effects on the environment and human life. Illegal mining has led to pollution of water bodies and the destruction of the country's forest reserves and farmlands. The security services say they will continue the fight against the bad activity to ensure sanity in the environment.
Back to the capital, where the use of technology and the internet opens up many opportunities for a country's development. Internet experts at a 2-day workshop in Accra called for a bridge in the gap between agriculture and the use of technology. This, they believe, will help improve the agricultural sector, which is the backrock of the economy.
Getting goods from the hinterlands to market centers for sale has had many challenges, including the lack of good routes to transport produce and the lack of proper means of preservation. The introduction of a downloadable application, areashoppers.co, is timely as it will help reduce the challenges farmers face, enhance the sale of products and the accessibility to the consumer.
We have developed a platform called the Agric platform, where every farmer will be on, plus the produce and the acreage of the produce. You will know how what farmer has, whether he has 1 acre, 10 acres, or half an acre. It is not something that he's going to say from the feeling anymore. It will be by coordinates, and you will know it on our system. And with that, you can sit here in Accra and have what we call an agro-based factory.
With this app on board, the long chain of middlemen, exorbitant prices and the demand for products will be just a tap away. The software makes use of over 1,000 workers who are constantly online and work with the farmers. The Minister for Trade and Industry, Mr. Ekospio Gabra, is suggesting to public universities in the country to subject their curricula to industrial peer review. He said it is critical for institutions of higher learning to involve experts and industrialists to fashion out practical-based and demand-driven courses. The Trade Minister was addressing participants in a summer school of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi.
Of universities turning out graduates without professional skills has been a worry to the country and a topical issue in recent times. Emphasis has been on practical-based and demand-driven courses to make graduates relevant to the job market. The KNUST Summer School was therefore planned to serve as a platform for the school's staff and key stakeholders in education to share ideas on how to identify a solution to the gap between academia and industry. The theme for this year's summer school was strengthening the linkage among academia, industry and government. The Vice Chancellor of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, Professor Obri Danso, spoke about the importance of the theme for the summer school.
It is heartwarming, therefore, to know that over the years, the university has had cordial relations with government and industry in this regard, but going forward, we intend to bring more impetus into this by vigorously implementing strategies for our research uptake agenda through the DRUSA program.
The head of Quality Assurance and Planning Unit of KNUST, Dr. Christian Ejari, advocated the establishment of an industrial fund to stimulate and enhance sustainable collaboration between academia, industry and government. A lecturer at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, USA, Professor Emmanuel Aqua, emphasized the need for a research funding for national development.
In a world in which the standard and quality of life in a particular country now depends more and more upon the power of knowledge, and where socioeconomic development is becoming more and more knowledge intensive, with greater reliance on science, technology, engineering, and management specialists, the role of higher education becomes even more crucial as we continue to develop our nations.
The Minister for Trade and Industry, Mr. Ekospio Gabra, who delivered the keynote address, shared some thoughts with the participants.
If you ask industrialists, can you give us each of you, the 5, 6 or 7 research topics that are of greatest interest to you? I'm sure many of those companies can give us 5 research topics that are of value to them. So if we put together that list, we may end up with 1,000 or 10,000 research topics, which could then be submitted to faculty and students for you to look through and see if any of those research topics are close to the subjects of interest to you, making therefore research a lot more relevant to the specific needs of the economy.
A documentary which highlights the educational challenges and abilities of visually impaired persons has been premiered in Accra. The title of the documentary is VIP, meaning Visually Impaired Persons. The documentary was put together by the Blind Cane Lead Foundation.
The story of VIP centers on a blind boy, Gerald Ahin, who became a school prefect in Ukapimai School and vowed to win Ghana's presidential elections in 2052. The film also explores the education, achievements and challenges of visually impaired persons in Ghana and advocates for inclusive education and society for persons with disability. The main objective of the documentary is to inform society that the visually impaired can also lead and achieve something for themselves. Here are some concerns raised in the documentary.
Why would I have to be only a member of the National Council on the Board of Persons with Disabilities when I think I have capacity and expertise in other boards in Ghana? Why should we have only one minister having a disability? Yes, we raised that it was a fair, so it was a good fair. But why haven't we have many more persons with disabilities on boards and commissions, and why? Why and why and why?
Some patrons give their impressions and lessons about the documentary.
I think it was okay, considering that it was a blind man who wanted to become president, and he won, and it makes everything nice.
I believe that they are people just like us, and then we should treat them as such. Being visually impaired doesn't mean you don't have the ability to do what people who can see do. And so I believe that I have learnt a lot, though sometimes it's so hard getting close to them, but I have learned to live with them and then get to make them understand or feel that they are loved by people who even see. And so I would urge that we all stretch forth our hands and then give them the warmest embrace that we never gave to them.
If someone is living with a disability, there's no need for us to stigmatize against such person, because they have something within them they can bring about. And then on the government side too, we are calling on government and then NGOs and everyone to also help.
The hero of the project, Gerald Ahin, said some visually impaired persons had left indelible marks in society, so people like himself can also achieve something in life.
Don't want to feel that they're begging because of their disability. The money that you get on the streets out there wouldn't take you for your lifetime. Every day you'd have to be begging and begging. So for how long would you be begging? So it's about time you do something which will bring something meaningful to your life and will also give you a perpetual independence in the society. So we need not to be a liability in the society as visually impaired or persons with disability, but we have to be assets of the society.
The film will go on a nationwide tour of schools and communities to distribute the film and sensitize the masses on disability.
A challenge that continues to hinder the work of the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit of the Ghana Police Service is people opting to settle rape and defilement cases at home. While some of these cases never get reported, majority of those reported get abandoned or withdrawn for out-of-court settlement along the way. This is the fate of some children at Teshi and its environs. Figures from the Health Directorate of the Lejekuku Municipal Assembly Lekma shows that parents accept money and allow defilement cases to be settled at home. Akpene Avo Ajaja reports.
What is happening, and actually on the quiet, is we are having a lot of children being defiled in the communities along the sea, unfortunately by people in trust, people in authority. Can you imagine a 12-year-old being defiled by her own father? That is heartbreaking. You know, we have neighbors, most of them are neighbors, and the children are below 15 years. 14 of these girls currently, as I speak, are pregnant.
Meet Dr. Letitia Apia, Municipal Health Director at the Lejekuku Municipal Assembly Lekma, who currently has many defilement case files on her desk. Defiled children as young as 2 years suffer vaginal discharge, abdominal pains, tears in the vagina, among others, because of forcible penetration. Most of these men who sexually assault the children are known to the victims or their families. They come as guardians, friends, neighbors, and generally people known and trusted in the community, but they end up molesting the girls. Teshi and its environs is seeing a gradual increase in the number of defilement cases involving neighbors or even relations. Reporting such cases for the culprit to be punished thus becomes a difficult task. But why will parents allow such culprits to go scot-free? Why will parents resort to settling such a criminal offense at home?
Because they are neighbors, because they know each other. They come to you, okay, let's settle it for 500 Ghana cedis, and they do that. But look at the trauma that these children are going through. The issue is the justice system is also not helping us, because they have to go and come, they have to bring a police form, the police form is filled, the doctors have to charge money for the police form to be filled, then they go to the police station, go and come today, and it's all money. It's all money. So they settle it on the quiet.
The Criminal Offences Act 1960 clearly states that whoever defiles a child, whether with or without her consent, commits an offence and shall be liable on summary conviction to imprisonment for a term of not less than 7 years and not more than 25 years.
The law provides that anything about the children should be of a paramount interest to all of us. And then when you look at the welfare principle, too, that it is clear that once it has to do with a child, institutions, and even name the court and professional institutions, must always work for the best interest of the child. So once it has to do with children, we expect that one, the process must be flexible, bearing in mind that the protection of children should be paramount. Two, with the services that we have to render to children must be fast and very speedy.
There have been calls to make the justice delivery process easier and cheaper, especially for defiled victims. Support is also a major factor that can cushion the children from the physical and psychological trauma after their ordeal. Child rights advocates are calling for a name and shame approach to deter people from defiling children. Peneavo Ajaja, GBC24, Accra.
Watching News Hour on GBC24. On the political front, campaigning in the Central Region on the first day of his 5-day tour, President John Mahama made a case for his re-election. He said he is the best man to build on the foundation laid in the last 4 years. He said uncompleted projects will be completed, new ones started, whilst incomes will be tackled.
President John Mahama called on the chiefs of Gumua Benso. After the meeting with traditional rulers, he attended a rally. Many people thronged Gumua Benso for the rally. Among those who addressed the crowd were the national organizer of the NDC, Mr. Kofi Adams, the central regional chairman of the NDC, Mr. Alute Jacobs, and some actors. President John Mahama said a lot has been done in his first term, but there is more to be done. He said the central region is dear to his heart and will push for social infrastructure in the region. He said supply of good drinking water, schools, good roads and jobs will be handled in the central region at an accelerated pace if he wins. The NDC campaign team then moved to Agunas Redro. Here, the president addressed petty traders, assuring them of assistance. He said roads in Agunas Redro will soon be tarred with asphalt under the district roads improvement program. The president rounded off his activities for the day at Gomwa and Kemu, otherwise called Apam Junction, where he addressed a mini rally in the night. The Central Region is one of the 4 swing regions in the country. The NDC has won the Central Region on more occasions than any political party since the inception of the Fourth Republic in 1992. Veteran broadcaster Miss Bertha Nana Jamra has passed on. She died at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital in Accra on August 19, 2016 after a short illness. Ms. Jamra joined the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation on July 1, 1990 as a program's assistant. After serving for 5 years in the television division, she was transferred to radio division on the grade of a production assistant. She will be remembered for the hit program Music for You, a musical request program which made a lot of airwaves on GTV. Nana also hosted the morning show as a disc jockey on Radio 2. Nana is survived by a child.
Good evening, you're still watching News Hour. Let's talk business. My name is Esther Edu Ohumeu. Cabinet has approved the creation of an oil palm development board at the second Africa Sustainable Oil Palm Conference in Accra. A Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Ahmed Yakubu Hassan, said this move by government is a major step to regulate and improve oil palm production in the country. It is expected that the sector, when well managed, will contribute immensely to the nation's gross domestic product.
The oil palm subsector is undoubtedly growing. Although the oil palm originated in Africa, the continent produces only 5% of the global need and consumes about 10% of the global production. The sector continues to suffer setbacks such as lack of training and production skills, deforestation, bad cultural practices, and conflicts over land, making it difficult for the sector to thrive. Future growth in the sector is expected to help close the continent's palm oil deficit and position the region as a net exporter. The Africa Sustainable Palm Oil Conference brought together oil palm farmers, experts, advisors, producers and other stakeholders in the sector to deliberate on how to promote best practices for oil palm sustainability while mainstreaming small-scale producers' ability to access the global market. For the next 2 days, participants will be focusing on topics such as mainstreaming sustainable palm oil production, landscape and jurisdictional approaches to sustainable palm oil, and the business case for sustainable palm oil. To the experts, the oil palm subsector is advancing with the potential to create jobs, improve local economies, and reduce poverty. The Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture in charge of crops, Dr. Ahmed Yakubu Al-Hassan, said while Ghana is making efforts to boost the sector, the entire continent ought to work harder to promote palm oil production. He was optimistic that the Oil Palm Development Board would help resolve many of the problems in the sector, especially now that oil palm is certified before it is accepted on the international market.
There have been intense demands from stakeholders within the oil palm commodity value chain to have a kind of board that will regulate the sector. We're challenged to come forward with some kind of justification for the creation of the board, which we did very well to the presidency and cabinet. And last week, cabinet approved that the oil palm boards could be put together.
Participants for the Africa Sustainable Oil Palm Conference were drawn from countries including Nigeria, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, and Malaysia.
92% of companies in Ghana are registered as small-medium enterprises, contributing about 75% to the country's GDP. At an SME forum in Accra, the Managing Director of Ghana Commercial Bank, Mr. Alfred Agbesi, said the bank has the capacity to offer initial support to new small and medium-scale enterprises to stand on their feet. In Ghana, it is estimated that SMEs account for 85% of manufacturing employment and also 90% of existing businesses in the country. They also contribute to economic diversification, exports, and social stability. In spite of these commendable contributions of SMEs to the country's development, the sector faces challenges, especially in the area of credit financing. At the GCB SME Forum, the head of consumer banking of GCB, Doris Wonu, said the Ghana Commercial Bank has created an SME specialist desk and has over the years disbursed about 20 million Ghana cedis to support over 653 businesses.
GCB's support to the sector is demonstrated by the initiatives the bank has taken. For example, we have introduced the SME segment specialists on the regional level and in our branches with the sole purpose of supporting and growing SME businesses in the catchment area of each branch. In addition, we have introduced 5 different types of loan products for the SME sector alone. The intention is to tailor-make the solutions to the varying needs of the SME sector.
The managing director, Mr. Alfred Agbesi, said 3 out of 5 SMEs in the country fail in the first few months of establishment, with most of them citing SME financing as a key challenge.
GCB is confident to say that we will ensure the success of the SME and informal sector for the good of the national economy, because we are Ghanaian. This underlines our strong commitment to inject life into SMEs with the right mix of products and services. Having taken all this into consideration, GCB has developed the automated scoring system for efficient lending decisions to manage SME facilities, be they secured or unsecured.
A representative from Ephesus Consulting, Mr. Daniel Saki, briefed the managers of SMEs on methods by which they can maximize their profits and how they can also expand their business in the shortest possible time. The performance of the local currency is next. And now to the Commodity Board. Now, one question about cars with self-driving technology is who is to be blamed when something goes wrong. A legislation is to be approved in the UK to pinpoint if the insurer, manufacturer or the insured should be blamed.
Hello, good evening, and many thanks to have you join us here on the health segment of the news, brought to you by FPAC, blows your pain away. My name is Evans Echampon. Children who have sickle cell require stem cell transplant, otherwise known as bone marrow transplant, to survive. It appears to be the only cure of the interventions available. A pediatric consultant at the sickle cell clinic of the Kolibu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Sudha Rao, says about 30% of the children who visit the clinic will need to undergo this procedure, for which 9-year-old Mildred Frimpong, a sickle cell patient, has been billed. Sarah Ofori has more.
It is a typical day at the Valley View Basic School. pupils going about various activities during break time, except that 9-year-old Mildred Frimpong can only look on whilst her colleagues play because she is not as energetic as the rest. Mildred is supposed to be ahead of her class, but she has missed a whole year out of school. Even in her current grade, she is unable to keep up with the pace of the class and her studies. Francis Oforidanso occasionally assists Mildred in her studies.
I want to be a lawyer.
Her tutors have always made extra time for Mildred to help her understand the lessons.
We can see that she has the knowledge, but the writing is now her problem. And the sickness she's having is affecting the right hand. And when time she's writing, it will be very difficult for the teacher to read. But when you ask her, she will tell you whatever she writes there. And in the classroom, she usually participates. She always have her hands up. And I can see that she has interest, but only because of the sickness, she can't sit here, and the writing too is a problem.
It's exams time. We give her a little bit time than the rest. So probably if we are giving the rest about 1 hour 30 minutes, we give her 2 hours. So she takes her time to write, because most of the time she writes the letters one by one. After she has taken her snack, sometimes I sit with her and go through the previous lessons we've already had with her, so that at least if she has not been able to capture what has been taught earlier on, I go through with her and she gets it.
Mildred is the third child of Peter and Adrina Frimpong. They recall in anguish how their daughter deteriorated over the time.
We first noticed it when she was 6, after one morning devotion, family morning devotion. When we had closed, we realized she couldn't get up.
I brush her teeth for her, I bath her, and sometimes climbing things. Even when she's on the porch, I have to go and clean her up and do all those kind of things, because she's not used to using the left hand. And the coordination is not there.
She can fall sick at any time. In fact, sometime in a month, she can collapse at any time. So all the time, she's either with me or with her mother. You cannot leave her. Anything, even if her volume of water goes down, there's problem.
Their visits from one hospital to the other became rampant until they were referred to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Our patient Mildred Frimpong, she has sickle cell disease, and as we all know, sickle cell disease is a problem where the hemoglobin is produced abnormally, and that causes abnormal shape of the red cells, and that causes all the problems in sickle cell children, as in breaking down of the red cells and blockage of the tubes, causing multiple problems of sickle cell disease.
It was recommended that she travel to India for a bone marrow transplant.
So in order to have a permanent cure in children with sickle cell disease, the hemoglobin should be from a healthy donor who do not have this problem, and that can be achieved from collecting the bone marrow or the stem cell from a healthy donor who do not have the sickle cell problem. So she will be producing cells which are normally shaped and which are no more sickle shaped. But the thing is, she will still carry that tendency to produce children, or her offsprings are not protected against sickle cell disease, but she herself, she will not have any cells produced in sickle shaped.
The full cost of surgery is about $98,000. Her parents are afraid they can't afford it, as they have exhausted their wherewithal on Mildred's treatment.
I'm appealing to everyone who is watching me to help and send money to Mildred so that she can have a surgery and live a wonderful and beautiful life as God has made her to.
Just help me so that I can get the money to do the surgery.
Mildred already has a donor, that is, her elder sister Lois. Both Lois and her brother Caleb hope their baby sister will recover soon. Donations to support Mildred's surgery can be sent to the Medina branch of the Prudential Bank with account name Mildred's Health, account number 00553673 70015, or the Adenta branch of the Ghana Commercial Bank, account name Mildred's Health, account number 147-101-001-0108.
And that was health segment brought to you by FPAC. Sports is next.
Let's bring you some updates from the world of sports. Ghana chef the mission for the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. Saka Akwe says his hopeful Ghana's crew will return with medals. The Rio Paralympic starts tomorrow. Hamidu, a high jumper. Ahead of the start of the Games, Ghana chef the mission for the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. Mr. Saka Akwe says they are ready to make Ghana proud.
Everything is set. That is why I commended the minister and the staff for a good work there. In fact, about their participation, we have gone through all the stages of operation. They are now acclimatizing, and you know tomorrow is the opening ceremony. Yes, we'll be there and make sure that Ghana wins. I can assure you that our athletes are doing very, very well. Whenever we travel, we bring medals. You know that we brought 21 medals from yeah, 21 medals. But yesterday I showed the minister that we will definitely come home with medal, and I want to use your medium, your popular TV program, to assure Ghanaians. All we need from them is their prayers and support. Team Ghana, Ahua! Team Ghana, Ahua! Team Ghana, Ahua! Ahua! Ahua!
The 2016 National Basic Schools Athletics Festival has ended at the Bonahafo region. The Ashanti region team won both the boys and girls categories. Senior High School Park hosted the 2016 edition of the National Basic Schools Athletics Festival. The HFC Bank sponsored event had athletes from all the 10 regions participating. Opening the festival, the General Manager, Retail Operations of HFC Bank, Mrs. Paula Bladwin, threw more light on Ghana Tokyo Gold Initiative, GTG.
I am declaring what I call GTG, Ghana Tokyo Gold. This simply means Ghana is winning gold in Tokyo 2020. We can win gold in Tokyo. The past does not matter, neither does our current situation. What matters most is the future.
The Central Regional Director of Education, Mr. David Afram, said there is hope for athletics in the country.
There are many factors that can account for our poor showings at past Olympic events. But I can say on authority that this was not a result of a lack of talent, but everything to do with the lack of financial support. Athletic talent is not in short supply. We have sports persons who possess world record-breaking potential, but they are often left to worry about funding instead of concentrating fully on their training.
The two-day event saw a fierce contest in the 100 meters, 200, 400 and 800 meters. There was a battle in the high, triple and long jumps, shot put, javelin among others. At the end of the event, athletes from the Upper East region finished third after amassing 149 points. Greater Accra came second with 154 points. The contingent from the Ashanti region emerged the overall best team with 250 points. Athletes that distinguished themselves were presented with gold, silver, and bronze medals as well as certificates of participation.
The maiden edition of the beauty pageant dubbed Nigeria's Most Beautiful Ghana 2016 has been launched in Accra. Nigerian Most Beautiful Ghana is an initiative to sell the culture and heritage of Nigeria to the world.
The competition aims at giving Nigerian ladies in Ghana the platform to showcase the culture and heritage of Nigeria to the world. The contest is open to only Nigerians. Speaking to GBC24, the CEO of Nigeria's Most Beautiful Ghana 2016, Franklin Cole, enumerated the criteria for the competition.
The winner of the pageant will be embarking on a couple of humanitarian projects with a special focus on breast cancer awareness in all the 10 regions of Ghana. This is our way of showing an appreciation and telling the host nation that we are grateful for the hospitality that we enjoy in their country.
Mr. Abe Mesh, CEO of Abe Music Records, outlined the prizes for the competition.
Abe Music Records is giving a deal of 1 year with whoever be the queen to have a car and drive to wherever he think he can go to. So that is my duty to do with the beauty pageant which we are holding for this year.
This has been News Hour on GBC24. News tonight is at 10:30. Make a date with us. Thanks for watching.